two double spawns on different continents. So the dark blue team, Kazipko and Admiral General, going air and bots first, representing team... I've got the name cue sheet here. Cheese and Puns. And in the light blue team, just over here, we've got Lordathon and Wormia representing Northern Walk in Team Netherwin. I am Marshall and I'm joined by TheWrongCat.
Good evening. And now I already said to you, Marshall, before the match began that we were looking at teleporters for this map. And indeed, I can see queued up in the dark blue team, the cheesy team, they already have a teleporter on the queue ready to go. No such joy from the light blue team. They instead seem to be favouring more mobile strats, building air factories. And air is going to be important in this match because there is no direct link by land between the two bases. However, teleporters are fairly cheap, fairly expendable, and that means that you can very effectively form a bridge between the two continents with land forces, and that should not be underestimated. What
you already see, sorry though, just to interrupt, there's the combat fabber there with the proxy telly already. So dark blue, the navy team, have got their skates on. The combat fabber is there already with the teleporter established. I suspect we'll see a commander go through there to establish a forward base. There's no sense in just sending through a couple of fabbers. I reckon a commander will go through there for the enhanced build speed at this point in the game. We'll get up some factories and maybe see some boombots coming out. Meanwhile, from the lighter blue team, though, we have the drifters, the hover tanks.
They've seen it. They've just seen that cheeky expansion. Now, this is very aggressive play from Dark Blue. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to absolutely take control of this choke point, deny all of that expansion room. We saw all those pings from the dark blue team earlier. That's what they were implying. They were saying to each other, let's put a choke point there, block it off, stop them expanding, and then take all of this metal, which is exactly what they're going to try and do. And cheesy strategy it may be. Putting your commander on the front line like that is a dangerous strategy, but we now see the docks from light blue starting to react, come in. Docks not that effective in trying to dislodge a commander which has come through. This is a high-risk strategy, of course. You lose the commanders, you lose the game. Losing half of your victory condition this early on would be devastating for the dark blue team. So let's hope for their sake they are able to pull this off.
Meanwhile, though, you could push in with the drifters to take out that commander, or they could factor in some boombots. Boombots are very good against commanders, and they're very quick and cheap to build. But the longer they leave this blue commander, the dark blue commander, I suppose, navy commander, here on this forward base, the harder it is going to be to dislodge and kill him off.
I think what they need to do here is focus on this teleporter as soon as they can, stop those units from streaming through. What really they could be doing, these drifters you can now see coming across here, trying to take advantage of the fact that the blue team's attention is most likely focused on their own front line, sending these drifters through here to try and upset them and get these let's see, these docks are coming through to try and deal with them. I don't think they're going to be able to. Drifters are very, very good raiding units, especially this early on in the game, trying to just put in some work, but well defended, very well microed, hiding behind the metal extractor by those docks. Those drifters seen off. We've got mines. Are these mines being placed? They are mines being placed along this little causeway here. That's, again, a very good piece of play there. That means that any successful incursion by the light blue team will be significantly weakened before it gets anywhere near that teleporter. They can see now the force has been amassed. It's moving in slowly. Have they got any scout vehicles in there? They do not. They will not see those mines until it is far too late.
Yeah, the docks are going to take the full force of the mines in the face unless the dark blue team can defend with their own docks. Actually, the light blue team, having seen that combat fab, they've realised that the mines must be going up. And let's have a look at the vehicle factories there. Do we see skitters coming out? Yes, they do. The light blue team are switched on. They've got their brain in deer, and they've seen that combat fabricator. And this is exactly the thing, because skitters can detect mines as well as combat fabricators.
Look what I've just seen, Marshall.
Ooh!
This is what we call tit for tat, like for like, eye for an eye, teleporter for a teleporter.
Anything you can cheese, I can cheese stronger. And there's also some bumblebees taking out a few fabricators on the raiding here, which is, you know, making sure that you're defending your base, doing this teleporter shenanigans, and trying to, you know, contain an opponent while continuing to raid like that. That's some impressive play.
Of multitasking.
It is.
Absolute feat of multitasking, and it's really good play. I'm very pleased to to see that. And I'm pleased that the light blue team are reacting in the way that they are. They're not being silly. I mean, at the moment, don't forget, they have not only are they very well choked in here, the dark blue team is so heavily invested in this particular strategy. They're going as far as to build their advanced vehicle factory on this side of the divide.
It is most effective there, though, because that means that the units don't have to worry about having to squeeze through a teleporter, and their levelers and shellers, especially shellers here, given that they've fortified and almost turtled themselves into that little sort of headland almost there, is going to mean that those shellers are really, really potent at taking on any of these forces that try and push in.
If I were dark blue right now and I could see this force coming towards me, I would be getting a little bit concerned because there are quite a lot of units here.
I'm not sure there's enough to fight off this commander just yet. It's going to be close.
Pelters being built behind them as well, of course, which are going to be very good at it's just making small cracks in their lines and causing them to think about what they're doing. Having the commander on the front line like that is risky. There's enough of a force there to potentially cause him a lot of headache.
Nice uber cannon there,
focus their fire on that commander, they could easily take him out already.
They want to try and take out that teleporter ideally rather than the commander, I feel. But
I would agree.
The thing is,
not got any infernos.
Well, they had one, but unfortunately it just never got into range of anything. And so that force that could have done so much more he has weakened a commander, but there's not much else there. I mean, I suppose they made a gap. Yeah,
it was lack of focus. That was what that was. They had the force there to deal some damage out. If they'd held back and gone for the commander instead of running into that turret, they could have killed him.
Yeah. They would need to spread out their units a bit more, though, to survive those uber cannons. Light blue, though, struggling with their power. We can see their teleporter turning on and off like a child does to a light switch. And oh my goodness, it's not actually... Light blue need to sort their economy out because now T2 is out from the Navy team. T2 just beginning for the light blue team. And it's really going to be important to get that economy going. If we look over, though, at the other continent, the light blue commander has begun to establish his base. Now, he needs to be careful because he is being aggressive to a cheese-potent team. He needs to be careful that he doesn't mature too early, because there are the boom bots. We actually see the boom bots coming out against the vehicles, which will be actually much better placed.
Oh,
Inferno did some good defense there.
Unfortunately, the Inferno was aiming his gun the wrong way when those boom bots came around for the second time, which is what led to that little demise there. But you know what? This is good to see both teams putting heavy pressure on one another, right on their offensive lines.
Yeah. But the thing is, the boombots, though, can go in against that light blue commander, and there's nothing there to defend against him.
Some counter pelters being built by the dark blue team, and actually doing a very effective job in preventing the light blue team from dislodging them. So they've got a very strong foothold here now.
They have got a very strong one indeed. I mean, look at, not only have they got that foothold, but just look at the expansion they've got. They've gone and claimed all of this metal, and that's doing wonders for their economy. 285 metal against 158. Now, meanwhile, light blue has invaded their island, but they haven't expanded. And not only that, but crucially, well sent, a T2 Faber has come back through to help bolster this base here. Oh. We do have a few units pushing in against the dark blue commander there, though, but the pelters are complete. The defences are
robust.
Are robust, yes, that's the word I was looking for. Just the word I was looking for. But the number of units, if we go into the army tab, 182 to 141. And not only that, but they're split. So I think light blue is in a very precarious position with this aggressive commander. Very, very precarious indeed.
What they're trying to do is more or less exactly what the dark blue team are trying to do on their side. However, the landscape just does not favour them. They do not have that narrow choke point which the dark blue team have taken such heavy advantage of. And what I can see now is that pelters are trading against other pelters, and they're trying to... it looks like actually the scouting game is being won by the light blue team here. The commander is now being pushed in aggressively.
Yeah, the commander will take the hits, and the boombots are there behind him. So the commander will uber cannon the defensive units, or are the boombots going to rush in? Are they going to try and rush in? I think Oh, they're going to go for it! They're going for the pelters! They've killed off a pelter, which is nice. And the remaining units there are surrounding that light blue commander. He is in a very, very dangerous position, being pushed a little bit by his own units there, and that's a disadvantage. And come a second wave of boombots while the docks are going to... Yeah. Oh dear, here comes the Uber cannon from the dark blue commander. The boombots there, oh my goodness, they're going to get a kill!
He's done for.
Down he goes, the teleporter survives, but there's levelers
there.
To
what end? To what end?
Exactly. The units are just too late. Too little, too late. And unfortunately...
Light blue are hemmed in here.
Light blue are very much hemmed in. And not only that, but T2 bots have almost finished from dark blue. And we know what dark blue like to do with their T2 bots. Locusts incoming!
I don't think, to be honest, I don't even think locusts are really going to be strictly necessary at this point.
Well, I mean, look at this entire power field here. That's ripe for the nomming.
I'm just, I expect that we'll be seeing some levelers, pelters coming through. Levelers are indeed coming through now from the dark blue team. They're going to start pushing in against the light blue team, and they are going to have some issues on their doorstep.
Yes, not only are the levelers the issue, but the shellers as well. And especially with good intel, those shellers can really hit home. We finally got the T2 out from light blue though. I think it's a little too late. Of course, light blue are not out. They are still in this game, but they have a bit of a hill to climb. And
They've got, at the moment, so the economy, unfortunately, is against them. They are 100 metal per second behind their opponents. They just do not have... let's have a look at the army tabs, you say. Look at that difference. Mobile unit count, 250 versus 100 for light blue. They have got a gigantic hill to climb, and the commander down as well.
Here come the locusts and the boombots through that teleporter. Of course, now that there's no defense needed on their own continent, all units can stream through the teleporter to be aggressive on the other one. But, oh my goodness, those locusts are going to come through and tear through the back door, I fear. Are they going to get a chance to shine? That's the question. In comes the air. Maybe the air will get the scout to inform the locust decisions.
But there's just a large blob of dark blue units there, ready to just rush in.
Yeah, we've got a nice mix of all sorts of stuff there. We've got some combat fabs, we've got some stitches. We don't see any men's, but we don't need the men's, really. We even see some blue hawks, interestingly enough. Very, very interesting.
Blue hawks, I don't think I've seen those used for quite some time.
Anti-orbital, sort of mobile.
Oh, I know. I've not seen those used. As I'll say, usually it tends to be the just spammer, if you will. And now we see the sea of dark blue units starting to make their way through the little intricate maze they've created for themselves, and they're just going to make a slow, steady march towards the light blue base. The light blue commander is actually quite near the front line as well, so it's very likely that he's going to feel the full wrath of this force. Now the boombots rushing in against Infernos, which is a shame because they've more or less wasted those.
They did take a number of heavy losses there with those boombots, which is somewhat unfortunate. What we're going to do is look at this in dynamic camera.
But actually, light blue just don't have the advantage that it looked like they had, because they just wasted all those boombots on units which are ideally equipped to deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think at this point it's that sort of luring into a trap of double wall strats and artillery. I mean, look at that. They're just goading all of light blue's forces into a trap. It's a trap!
Really, light blue, I think, in ideal circumstances, would have held their units back and not fought them at the wall. But I think at this stage they probably accepted the fact that they are massively overwhelmed here. Dark blue have got double their economy. They've got control on their home island, whereas light blue have no such spearhead on their opponent's island. I think they're just sending units into the grinder just to get it over and done with a little bit quicker.
Quite possibly. And we'll probably see the GG's called very soon indeed. Going back into the army tab there, now 128 plays, 300 plus. So it's really not looking good for the light blue team. And we can see in the picture-in-picture how all those icons are just flooding in now.
And actually, surprisingly enough, the Dark Blue Force hasn't quite made such an impact as I thought it was going to. Looks like the Commander's just fired off a really poor Uber cannon there, caught on the corner of the factory. This force isn't going to be able to cut it though. Light Blue defended this exceptionally well.
Yeah, this time it's just not quite going to manage it, as you say there. And there is the Air Forces coming out from from Light Blue now, but there's boombots there as well. There's still the vehicles to defend.
I'm trying to see what the killing blow is going to be here, because they've got so much economy. Why have they not got more units here to send through? Have they got a nuke on the go or something?
No.
Are they building a Titan?
I don't think so. Going back into their base. Yeah.
And the GGs have been called.
GGs, you bested us. GGs.